Hello everyone, welcome to another energy reading of the week. Let's see what the energy supports this week. And before I pull a card, let me reintroduce myself for those of you who are new to me. My name is Ange. I'm an online business mentor and a sustainable success mentor. Every week I come and do a reading with my very own Healing Burnout with the Angels Oracle deck. I have other Oracle decks and I'm actually considering using them for different readings soon. I'm not too sure just yet, so I'm sitting with it at the moment. There are some universal energies, especially attached to this page, or for people who follow me or who will find me, who will be guided to find me. And every week they shift. And when we can leverage this energy to support us in doing the things that we have to do, then that makes things a lot easier. And that's all. That's what it's all about, avoiding burnout by leveraging energy. Energy is the first pillar of my framework, my EPIC framework. So E stands for energy. I also have a P for prosperity, I for intuition, and C for courage. And these are the foundations of success without burnout, without having to sacrifice your health or your relationships when you pursue success. So I'm going to pull a card now, asking for what the energies support this week. And interesting, we have priorities again. It's a card that's come up twice this year. This is the third time actually. We are being asked to learn to prioritize better, which is really interesting as well, because I'm going to be doing a speech next week about planning for success. Now, this is not going to be an online speech, so sadly you can't sign up to join us. However, I'm going to be talking about my planner. I have a planner online on Amazon. You can find it on my website, or the link to it on my website, angedelumiere.biz. This is a planner that will really help you, especially if you have a giant to-do list. And I'm actually making a prop, so I might be wearing it next time I come. I don't know. It's not finished, my prop, but it's super fun. And if you have a to-do list that is so long that it's discouraging you or overwhelming you, what you need is to organize it. And the way to prioritize, I do that every evening before the next day. So I look at my to-do list and I think, what are going to be my 3 priorities for tomorrow, which I pick from that list. And when I have a planner, and I'm still waiting for the planner to come, it should arrive tomorrow, which I'm a bit frustrated about because they're late compared to usual. It's not Amazon, so don't worry if you order it on Amazon. As long as you have Amazon Prime, you should receive it really, really fast. They're very good on delivery. It's another website that I use because I like mine to be coiled. Anyway, what I found fascinating is yesterday I was listening to a podcast interview of a partner in a law firm in litigation, a specialist in litigation, who said he did exactly the same. Every evening before the next day, he picks 3 priorities that he focuses on. And I think it's the way to make things happen when you have long-term projects that you want to prioritize, so that the urgent and mundane stuff doesn't always come on the way of long-term things. And that's what I'm going to talk about on Friday at that talk that I'm going to do to a group of female entrepreneurs. What I do want to add about priorities as well is that it's a lot easier to prioritize to avoid shiny object syndrome and fear of missing out if you have a plan. So by choosing 1 priority for a month, or even 3 months, you have a main priority. You're allowed to have a secondary one, but you want to make sure that everything you commit to is filtered through the progress of that thing. And my priority this month is to actually promote my webinar called Tarot for Decision Making. So you've seen my Oracle decks. I have this one for Healing Burnout. I actually have a lovely one that I'm going to be using during the webinar, which is called my Business Oracle deck. And I've had this one, I actually launched it in 2021, so I've been using it for absolutely years. And I still have a couple for sale, actually, if you were interested. So feel free to reach out to me if that's something that you're interested in. Priorities require us to be clear on our plan, on our strategy. And for a strategy to work, you need to give it some time. You can't chop and change all the time. And that's a mistake I made at the start of my business online. I would change my plan regularly. If I didn't get instant results, I'd get discouraged and then I'd start doing something else. I don't do that anymore because I understand that you need to get the traction. For example, with these energy readings, I've been doing them now for 6 months, and I might still have to continue to do them before I get the traction that I want. But I'm consistent. I show up because it's one of my priorities, so that people get to know me as a person, a grounded person. You know, my background was the law. I got into tarot actually in a really interesting way, which I've shared in my memoir, Spiritual Lawyer. So again, that's on my website as well. And it's mostly because I was helped tremendously by a clairvoyant back in France to make the decision to move to the UK. I call these the CEO decisions. You know, it's decisions that have such an impact, not just on you, but in my case, it was also an impact on my 2 elder children. And so I really wanted to make sure I got it right. So I went to this woman and she confirmed that I would be fine and that it was for our highest good to move to the UK. And you might have those CEO decisions to make and not know how to use a tarot deck to help you make those decisions. So I'm going to give you a taste. I'm not going to teach you, obviously, a complete masterclass in tarot for decision making, but I'm going to give you a taste of what the tarot, the potential of the tarot to support you. Because a lot of people think that the tarot is some sort of divination tool. It's not. It's actually a way to access your own inner wisdom. Most of us, we already know what the right answer is, but because we suffer from self-doubt, which was the card for last week, or because we don't trust ourselves as much as we should, then we sort of outsource our decision to our friends and family, or to processes that actually don't tune in to our inner wisdom. And personally, I think this needs to change. So I'm very, very excited to be able to teach you a way to get started on that path. Now, there are a lot of moving parts in doing a tarot reading, but one thing is for sure is that if you join that free webinar on the 24th of June, you can be a complete beginner. This being said, I've also taught people who had used the tarot for a very long time. So it's both for beginners and for advanced people, because I've been doing readings now for 2 decades. So I have a lot of experience in using cards, and there's some nuance very often. And there's the art of asking the right question is super important. So to get back to priorities, how do you select your priorities or your goals or whatever it is in your business? I recommend that you chuck it all on a big piece of paper, maybe an A3 if you have a lot of things to write. And that from there, because you see all of it at once, you can unfocus your eyes, just sort of look at it and see if any part of them, if your eyes are drawn to a particular task or a particular priority on the paper, because that's how your intuition can work as well. I still remember to this day walking down the street and feeling that I had to turn my head to the right, and I had to look at something, and by doing that I literally received the answer that I was looking for to a question I was asking myself at the time. So this is a very powerful process. Go and experiment with it, have fun with it, and come back and do this video to tell me how it went. That's it for me for today. I'll speak to you again next week. Bye for now.